which is a nice segue into Rocky Balboa and the brilliance of this film, and a little bit about how the story came to you, how you got involved in that.
Well, Sylvester had auditioned for me twice before. Once when I was down in Miami Beach doing a picture with Jackie Mason, and he was at the University of Miami at the time. He came in and auditioned for that. And then when I was doing a picture with Burt Reynolds, WW and the Dixie Dance Kings,
Right.
he came in and auditioned for that. And neither time did he get the job.
Did he make an impression though? Do you remember? Did you remember him?
Oh, absolutely. And I had seen Lords of Flatbush,
Yeah.
which was the picture he made before
With Henry Winkler.
Rocky. And an old friend of mine had gotten a job with the producers. I had recommended him to these producers, Chartoff and Winkler, and he had met Sylvester and brought Sylvester into them as an actor. And so they met Sylvester and they talked about blah, blah, blah. And as Sylvester was leaving, he said, I also write scripts. And they said, oh, well, we'll be happy to read what you've written. So he gets this script over to them, and they read the script, and they like it. And they said, yeah, we'd like to buy that. He said, well, I've already sold that script. That was Paradise Alley. But I'll write you another one. And a week later, he brought them Rocky. And they liked it. And they said, okay, we'll buy this one. He said, good, but I play Rocky. They, ha, ha, ha. No, you don't play Rocky. We'll find a star to play Rocky. Mm-hmm. And he said, no. If you want this script, I play Rocky, or I don't sell it. Right. And at this point, Sylvester and Sasha were living in a very small place, and Sage had just been born, I think. And so he was in no position to turn down anything.
Right.
And I think
Took a lot of guts.
he was offered, I think, about $250,000 for that script. And he stuck to his guns, thank goodness. And finally, they said okay. And United Artists, who had never heard of Sylvester Stallone, they said, well, who is he? And they said, well, look at this movie, Lords of Flatbush, and you'll see him. So they sat there and they looked at Lords of Flatbush, and they said, well, which one is Stallone? And they said, well, the star, that guy. And the star of the picture was an actor named Perry King, who was a tall, blue-eyed, blonde guy, good actor, handsome guy. So United Artists said, okay, thinking that they were buying Perry King. So when the first few days dailies came in, they were screening them, and they said, where's Stallone? And they said, that guy's Stallone. He said, no, Stallone's a blonde. So that's how that came to be.
That's how Rocky got the part. What does that movie mean to you right now? And I know you did obviously the first one, and to me the best one. I mean, it's one of the best films, Best Picture 1976. Nominated for Mr. Stallone, got an Oscar nomination for that. How does the Rocky thing fit in? When someone say you're the guy that did Rocky, what do you think of when that happens?
I think how lucky I was, and how big a part luck plays in the movie business and in life.
Right?
Now we also should remember that Sylvester was nominated for Best Screenplay.
And screenplay as well,
because
right.
he wrote it also. So
does that hold holds a special place in your heart for you? The underdog story, the way you ended the film, the way it ended, everything.
Well, that wasn't the way it was written as far as the ending was concerned. Bill Conti, who wrote the score, played a huge part in that ending. I had met Bill a few years before and wanted him to do the music for WW, as a matter of fact. But the folks at Fox knew better, and they said, no, we'll find an established composer for you. So when Rocky came along with a very low budget, less than $1 million,
Wow.
they didn't particularly care who was the composer. And the music budget was $25,000, all in, including the composer's fee, including paying the musicians, the copyists,
Dubbing, everything.
everything, the tape, the works. So when I started rehearsing the picture, I had looked at a lot of boxing pictures, and I was struck by how phony the boxing looked. And I said to the producers, the only way this thing is going to look halfway decent is if we have a lot of time to rehearse the boxing, so when we come to shoot it, it will look real. So they went along with that notion. So when I got Carl Weathers and Sylvester in the ring for the first time, I had a little 8mm movie camera, and I started shooting the 8mm so I could show it to them, and they started bouncing around saying, I'll do this and I'll do that. I realized, wait a second, we're going to be here forever. Sylvester, why don't you go home and write this thing out, and we'll practice it like a ballet.
Yeah.
And he liked that idea. He came back the next day with 32 pages of lefts and rights, and that's what we learned. And I would shoot every day and show them the film, and I said, it's got to get a lot better than this, and if you lost a little weight, it wouldn't. And they saw the wisdom of that. Then I took this rehearsal footage, and I showed it to Bill Conti, and I projected it in my little 8mm projector, and slowed it down, and played Beethoven's Sixth Symphony behind it, the Pastoral. And you can play Beethoven with leader, and the leader will look good. So I said to Bill, this is what I want. I want a classical sound to this, and it will move it up. And Bill agreed and had a classical background at Juilliard, and wrote that terrific score. And the way the movie was written to end, Rocky loses, and the crowd comes in to carry Apollo Creed out, and the crowd also carried out Rocky, and as Rocky is being carried out on their shoulders, he passes Adrian, and he leans over and he pulls up Adrian, and Adrian and Rocky go out on the shoulders of the crowd. Well, when we came to shoot that, the assistant director, Fred Gallo, came up to me and said, well, we don't have enough extras to carry out Sylvester. And I said, obviously the same people are going to carry out, but Sylvester heard that, and he said, maybe he doesn't get carried out. Maybe he just walks out. He walks down the aisle, the crowd, he lost. Nobody pays any attention to him. He sees Adrian there at the back of the auditorium, and they join hands and they just walk away. And if you recall, the original poster was the boy and the girl walking away from the camera holding hands.
A little silhouette type of thing.
And I thought, gee, that sounds very poetic. Let's shoot that. So that's what we shot. So I'm putting the picture together, and Bill comes in with the last cue. Well, it was a great cue. But I didn't have the footage to go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it sounded like those old Clairol commercials where the boy and the girl are racing across the fields and
Slow
come in
motion.
and embrace. And I said, look, this cue is a classic. It's great, but I don't have the footage to go with it. But it wouldn't be difficult to get it. All we need, we'll keep Sylvester in the ring. He'll start bellowing Adrian. Adrian will fight her way through the crowd and get through the ropes and get into the ring, and they'll clinch. Rocky will say, "I love you," and we're out. And after a lot of persuasion, I convinced the producers to come up with a couple of bucks to shoot that. We went back into the empty arena, and for half a day, excuse me.
That's all right.
And we had half a day, and we had Marty Scorsese's camera package. He was about to do New York, New York for the same producers. So his camera package was sitting in their office, so we borrowed that, unbeknownst to Marty. And
Did you tell him later?
I certainly did. And he was very pleased. We had like 20 extras walking in front of the lens looking like a crowd. And we shot it, and we put it together. And with that Bill Conti score behind it, it was
a knockout.
Right. And without that, I don't think I'd be sitting here today.
The music is a big part of that. This is a tough question, and thank you for your time. And I know you have another engagement out front. We're going to wrap in a few minutes, but I wanted to... Do you kind of wish that it ended right there in terms of the Rocky story with the first one? I mean, I want to ask the man who was responsible for putting it on the screen if you had your druthers.
No, as a matter of fact, Sylvester and I had come up with an idea for a sequel. And it was going to be a trilogy. And in the first one, we were going to have a scene where Rocky goes to see the mayor of Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. The mayor calls him in, and Rocky walks in the mayor's office with his hat in his hand. And the mayor is sitting there with his record in front of him. And he said, there's no chance that you're going to win this thing, but you're going to make a couple of bucks. What are you going to do with that money? And Rocky says, I'm going to run for mayor. So the second picture was going to be Rocky running for mayor on the reform ticket. And at the end of that picture, he would win. And the third picture is Rocky is the mayor now. Meanwhile, Paulie, the Burt Young character, would get caught stealing money from the city treasury. And Rocky being Rocky, he would take the fall for Paulie. And yeah, and the last scene of the trilogy would be Rocky going back into the ring, back in that horrible place where we first found him, and the ring announcer, and the former mayor of Philadelphia, Rocky Balboa, and we would leave Rocky the way we found him.
So they have full circle.
Right, but that
didn't come to fruition.
That didn't
Have you seen
come about.
The last one, the Rocky Balboa?
Yes.
What did you think of the way they ended the story? I guess it's ended right now, right?
Well,
you never know, do we?
As you recall,
we'll be doing Rocky 7, right?
As you recall, I also did Rocky 5.
Rocky 5, that's right.
Now, in Rocky 5, Rocky dies. That's how Sylvester had written it. He has the fight with Tommy Gunn.
Tommy, right.
And
I didn't like him too much.
He's badly beaten, and on the way to the hospital in the ambulance, with his head in Adrian's lap, Rocky expires. And the last scene is on the steps of the hospital, Talia Shire, as Adrian comes out of the hospital and the world's press is assembled, and she announces that Rocky is passed on. But as long as people believe in themselves, Rocky's spirit will live forever, and we see him running up the stairs from the first one. I thought, wow, that's beautiful.
You're giving me goosebumps because everybody who's gone to Philly runs up those stairs, don't they?
Right.
To the theme, right, Billy?
It would have been a beautiful ending. It was classic, and that's how Sylvester had written it. So we start to shoot. We're shooting in chronological order, and a couple of weeks into the shooting, the head of MGM at the time calls up and he said, "Oh, by the way, Rocky doesn't die." I said, "He doesn't die? Why not?" He said, "Oh, these people don't die. Batman doesn't die. Superman does. James Bond, they don't die." I said, "But you're concerned with a sequel. You can have endless sequels. Rocky's a fairy tale. When Rocky dies, the next one can be Rocky in Purgatory." And we examined his life. And does he go to heaven or hell? Well, at the end of that one, he goes to heaven. Now, the third one, he's in heaven. Somebody's got a problem on Earth. Guess who goes down?
He fixes the budget. He does everything, right?
Right. They didn't go for that. So Rocky doesn't die, but the movie died. Because without that ending, the movie made no sense. So it was unfortunate.
So Rocky Balboa, the way it stands now, the last one, you like? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
I thought everything about it was terrific except for two things. One, three things, actually. I remember running into Sylvester before he started shooting it.
And he asked, he goes, "Hey, John, what did you think?"
Well, he told me, he said the movie opens and Adrian's dead. I said, "What? When the movie opens, she's dead?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Listen, if you don't want her in the movie, let the movie open and let her die in your arms. So you bellow, 'Adrian,' and we know there'll never be an answer." I said, "That would be such a devastating opening, you'd have the audience in the palm of your hand for the rest of the movie." He said, No, she's dead." So, my other disappointment was that he didn't use Sage, his son, who played his son in Rocky V. And he said, no, he's overweight. And I said, "So use it. Rocky's..."
Use that as the script, you're saying.
Yeah,
use the story.
Rocky's upset because
he's overweight.
No. And then I thought everything leading up to the fight, and he also didn't use the girl who was around, who he walked home in the first one. Right. I think he should have used the original. Anyway, everything leading up to the fight, I thought was very, very well done. But I thought the fight was a little flashy. It
was un-Rocky-like. It was un-street-like.
Well, and it had too many star filters, and it was just... But it did pretty well, and I thought everything leading up to that was very good. So Sylvester's, besides being a terrific actor, he's also a very good writer.
Yeah, he is. Fabulous.
And he's doing a picture now that Schwarzenegger's evidently going to be in, and is being written by Robert Kamen, who wrote the Karate Kid movies.